Welcome to Austin. I'm speaking to you from my home here in Austin, my beautiful home, and I am so glad to be here. I'm talking on my favorite subject, which is rice, and I'm glad you're here. In May of 2015, there was a horrible flood over in Wimberley, not far from here, and several people died in that flood. It was probably the worst flood in centuries in that area on the Blanco River, and it came after 4 years of droughty weather here in Texas. The droughts continue in California, but it's ended here in Texas, which is a good thing. The bad thing is that my experts in climate and in meteorology tell me that this kind of thing could become more frequent as we move down the line. And that will have an impact on the rice market, which is what I spend my time thinking about. I would address you to the video on the website of the Outlook meeting in Little Rock, where I spoke and my economic consultant Stuart in California spoke. He has this wonderful website called cashrice.com, which if you're interested in rice, you should also take a look at. I want to talk to you a little bit about what it means to say the word rice. The book I wrote is When Rice Shakes the World. As rice changes, so does Asia. They're bedded together. Rice is not an insignificant commodity. It is actually a very interesting commodity, and it's very different than the other grains. It takes twice the water and twice the labor to grow rice. China, now becoming the biggest economy in the world, spends 70% of its irrigated water on rice and rice alone. The Great Wall of China is held together with, guess what? Sticky rice and burnt rice hulls. Did you know that? I didn't know that until 2005 when I was in China. If it were not true, I would have said it's true, because it is a symbol of what rice is. It holds society together. It's a military item as well as a consumptive item. The other thing about rice is that hundreds of millions of farmers grow rice for billions of people. As much as 3 billion people eat rice every day. In Indonesia, 30% of a person's income goes to buying rice. So the government watches it very closely. As a result, we have an interesting situation going on in the world today. Our prices are at maybe 50-year lows, and yet politicians and government officials across the planet want to become self-sufficient in rice. Go figure. There is a phrase that politicians, when they see the light at the end of the tunnel, try and build more tunnel. Being self-sufficient in rice is a worthy goal and one which gets you votes. But if you do not have the land and you do not have the water, you're going to have a problem being self-sufficient in rice. And that's the problem right now, is that they can't do it. In India and China, they spend tens of billions of dollars defending their rice policies, but they can't continue to do it. Right now, we have a stocks problem in Asia. Two stocks problems. One is that rice stocks are going down, which is long-term bullish on activity in rice. And the other is that the rice stocks are trying to find a home with existing demand, and that's why the prices are so low. The crude oil price is also down, and the dollar's going spastic. They say that in the stock market, the market gets off its medications. I don't know if you've heard that phrase before. Right now, the rice market is off its medications. The price is way below cost of production, and they're continuing to throw more money at the problem. The longer-term solutions are to redefine world rice trade. What has worked for 70 years in rice is about to become wrong. And that's the point of my book, that everything we've thought about rice for 70 years is wrong. And if you don't think about it in a new way, you're going to be left behind as this thing changes. I call the problem in the US as global warming. In California in the South, that's why we have the drought. In Asia, it's different. It's global swarming. And I don't mean that in a contemptuous sense. I mean that we have many, many people that are moving from the rural areas to the urban areas, and the populations are growing, and the price is low, and guess what's happening? Consumption of rice is way outstripping production, and stocks are going down in Asia. We have a low price here in this country because we have a temporary supply problem in the rice market. that is going to resolve itself fairly soon because we've got a free market in rice in this country. So I would like to leave you then with a few weather thoughts, climate thoughts. I don't really subscribe to the idea of global change or climate change. I call it more climate strange. My advisors in weather tell me that we are moving from a warming period into a winter cooling period by 2017. Right now there's an El Nino in Asia that could cause some damage. It may turn out to be quite mild. El Ninos generally reduce the production of rice in Asia. And the other problem, however, is that if we get through the El Nino in 2015, we still face what is a global cooling problem by 2017, and Jack Frost could nip the recovery in grain production in the bud. These are just some of the problems that we think about every day at First Grain. I invite you to take me up on an offer. If you buy my book, I will send you the semi-annual report that will be produced this summer and let you take a look at that. And I would invite you to come back to the website from time to time as we update our thinking on the rice market. And I would leave you with one thought, particularly if you're a grower of rice, and that is that it is all about the cost of water and supplies. I want to give you a more elegant phrase for that, done by the Zen master, and that is, when you boil your rice, know that the water is your life. Have a rice day, my friend.